Hello, world. Welcome to Onside Takes. I'm your host, Caden. Joining me are my co-hosts, Tim
What's
and
up?
Caleb.
Yo.
I'm so fucking ready this week. You're not supposed to swear in the first minute of a YouTube video, sorry.
This week was a bounce-back week for all of our teams. The Vikings carve up the Colts and end their two-game loss streak. The Jets end their horror streak on Halloween and hopefully start a streak in the other direction. The Ravens, back in their groove, ride the Broncos until their backs break with a 41-10 dub. Up first, the Vikings.
Thank you, Caden. So, Vikings. We're back in the win column. It was a tumultuous couple weeks. I was scared. All my hopes and dreams were dashed, as I said last week. The first half of the game did not give me any confidence more than I had before, since we went into halftime down 0-7 to the Colts and Joe Flacco. It was not a good first half. We start off, we get that fumble, and instantly Sam's like, you know what we should do right now? We should throw the ball for an interception in the end zone to two Colts. Two Colts players would have picked that off before Justin Jefferson could have even got to the ball.
I think that was the worst play I saw from Sam Darnold all year.
That's just how much trust he has in JJ, bro. It's pretty simple.
There was no world.
God-awful ball.
It was like every time we got a turnover in this game, we said, what if you can have it right back? Here you go.
So speaking of turnovers, how about those double back-to-back interceptions, though?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. It was like, we get one, it's like, yes, game sealing, awesome. Instantly, no, you guys can have a chance still. It's fine. Have the ball back.
I've never seen that before.
No, the fumble returned for the touchdown as well in the first half, which was the only points scored by either team. And we can get into it right now. What do the refs have against Sam Darnold? They're just fine with him getting his ass punched with a hand, and then he fumbles because he got punched. There's a rule in the NFL book that says any blow to the head is a flag. I don't know what they want. They threw the flag and they picked it up.
If he's Mahomes, that gets called in the ref's sleep. That's all I'm saying.
I thought you just said he got punched in the butt, though.
You did say he got punched in the ass.
But
so
then you followed it up by...
That's not exactly how I meant. That's not exactly how I meant. He got... Oh, well.
You seen he's a
he
butthead,
got punched
dude?
in the head.
You seen he's a butthead, man?
Oh, man. I don't even know my exact words now. I'm being gaslit, I think. He got punched in the head is the words I meant to say. And it was very much side of the head, into the face mask. His helmet turned again. And then he fumbles because he gets hit hard, whatever. The refs, their explanation to Kevin O'Connell after was, well, we threw the flag because we thought it was a face mask. But then we realized it wasn't a face mask, so we picked it up.
The refs are seeing ghosts.
I mean, Kevin O'Connell was on the sideline like, guys, he got hit in the head. He got hit in the head. That's a flag. You threw the flag. They're like, well, it wasn't the flag we thought it was. So, like, it's not crazy. It's just crazy that the only score in the first half was that. It was disgusting. Will the Thrill got jinxed, I think. They talked about him not missing anything, and then he missed his 50-yarder, which I'm fine with. You can't hit every 50-yarder. It came off weird, and then he did miss the 30-yarder as well, right before the half. Although they did show later on in the second half, and he was like, they were working on his thigh, his kicking leg thigh, and they put a heat pad on it. So
yeah, I saw that.
There might have been something wrong with him. So he still kicked 3 extra points in the second half, even though he maybe wasn't 100%. So I don't know what happened. I blame nothing on Will. You can miss 2 field goals. It's fine. He's made every other one. No issues. I just hope he gets healthy. That's all we need. We just need him to be healthy.
It was a loud doink, though. Like, when he doinked it, they played the audio clip in the broadcast, and I was Damn. Okay. That
I
thing
think
was
we've talked about
forceful.
this before. Whatever, I don't think we've talked about this before. Whatever, I don't know what the goalposts. They're just metal. They're hollow metal beams or whatever they are. But they are when they get doinked. It's the loudest thing I've ever heard on TV, like from the actual game. Like it's so loud. It's nuts. But yeah, the offense moved the ball a ton in the first half, and we managed 0 points with, I mean, we should have had probably 3 touchdowns potentially in the first half, but we had nothing.
Yeah, Tim, just so you know, Caleb texted me at halftime and he was having like an existential breakdown. He was like, the Vikings are over. We're done. It's just so cooked. And I was just like, Caleb, just breathe. And then came out winning through 300 yards.
I had belief that were the Vikings off in the first half? Yes. But it also, they looked like the better team. And they proved it in the second
absolutely.
half. But
They did look like the better team, but my issue was it doesn't matter how good you look. We were down 0-7 at halftime after being the better team the whole half.
Clock's not double zeros, so it doesn't matter, Kill. What matters is the score at the end of the game in this league. That's all that matters.
I may have overreacted at halftime, but I think I was every Vikings fan at that point.
Oh,
just like
certainly.
It was awful. But we did pull it out. The offense, they figured it out in the second half, which I shouldn't even say they figured it out. They just kept doing what they were doing, but actually converted their drives into touchdowns, which they should have done in the first half. But I think we have a large enough sample size now of Sam Darnold that we know his strengths and weaknesses, and we kind of just have to accept it at this point. Not that we want to accept.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat that was saying that when he wasn't under pressure, he was throwing consistently 300 yards, 3+ touchdowns. When he was under pressure, at least an interception, 1 touchdown, like 200 yards. So it's definitely night and day when he's feeling the heat in the pocket.
He's a little bit slow through his progressions, like when he's looking across the field trying to decide who to throw it to, and he gets kind of panicky. He holds onto the ball too long, which is what we've seen. We've seen a ton of sacks, which I'm fine if he gets sacked. If he's like, this is a bad scenario, I have to just go down. But all of his sacks recently have been like, oh, I can get out of here. Let me run 30 yards behind us. And oh no, I got sacked still. Now this drive is over. It's done.
I hated watching him do that. It happened multiple times during that game. He's not a mobile quarterback. He's gotten like a couple clutch getaways this season, but like against good defenders, he's not mobile.
He's like a medium. Like he's not a Peyton Manning, can't move, but he's not a Lamar Jackson. He can move if needed, but it's not what he should be doing. I'd like him to just throw the ball. Even if he thinks it's a bad situation, throw it away. Like you never really see him throw it away. The only time I see him throw it away is when he leaves the pocket and it's like a broken play and he throws it 3 yards in front of him. Like he never just throws it away like every other quarterback in the league. So I don't really get that part. The sacks just brutal. He's not seeing the field. Like he's Justin Jefferson is really freaking good, and we can all agree he had another awesome game. But his interceptions, he's just so tunnel vision. Like he needs to see the entire field. We have great wide receivers. Our great tight end is back. Justin Jefferson is still managing to take 2 or 3 defenders on him. There should be other people open. And that's on the defense to decide who they want to leave open.
Yep.
He needs to evaluate the field. Because
he needs to make it a pick your poison offense instead of a focus.
Right. And he's still gonna get Jefferson's still gonna get his receptions. Like even with this, he's still going to get those. Which defenses they can't hold him to 0. But I mean, he still had 290 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. That's a great game. But then you still have to think about both interceptions were awful. The fumble is not, I don't really blame him too much for that because there was a flag, and that's probably the main reason why he wasn't able to hold on to the ball is because he got punched. A light punch, I guess. But yeah, We know Sam Darnold's ups is he can sling it, but his downs are honestly just as bad as his ups. So we just got to keep riding him and see how it goes. Kevin O'Connell keeps saying he has the most confidence in him, and he's going to keep having that confidence no matter what. And that's good for Sam. We'll take that.
How about that Jordan Addison catch of his career, though?
Oh my God, that was one-handed.
That was beautiful.
That was awesome. But the offense in the second half, they came out on a mission and they just drove down the field twice in a row and scored easily. I mean, Jefferson had 137 with 7 receptions. Josh Oliver, not the tight end you'd think we'd be talking about.
Right.
He had 5 receptions for 58 yards and a touchdown. Jordan Addison also had 5 receptions and 42 yards. I mean, I really feel like finally Jordan Addison got unleashed this game. I don't know I don't think it's necessarily his fault. I think that it's a lot on Sam and the offense. Like, he needs to be involved. He is a great wide receiver number 2. He would be a wide receiver number 1 at many places. So you need to use him. And he'd really had nothing prior to this. Finally came alive this game. That was awesome to see. Hawkinson was back. I think he had 3 catches for like 25 yards, something like that. No matter what, he's coming back from a knee injury. He needs a couple weeks to just get back into it. Like, he's not there yet. I know he's not. He'll be there. I have full confidence in that. But yeah, the offense cooked. We'll move on. We just take it. Wish it would have been more points, but a win is a win. The defense, though, I'm not going to call them the Purple Haze again yet. I'm not there yet. All right, I'm not there. They were great. I mean, they got two turnovers. We did lose the turnover battle 3-2, but 2 turnovers still, and they held the Colts to 2 field goals, and one of those field goals was because the interception was at the midfield. Like, nothing the defense could really do on that. So the defense was back, but we still didn't have a pass rush. Yes, we had a pass rush in the last drive of the game in garbage time when we know they have to pass, so we're just sending a few people there and a bunch of people in the coverage. But I don't know exactly what's happening with the pass rush, because like I said last week, we were the sack leader after 5 weeks. And now I think we had 2 sacks at the end of the game. I could be mistaken on that, but those are the first 2 sacks in 3 weeks. Like, what are we doing? How did this happen? I have to calm down, though, because the defense, they did play great. I mean, they didn't allow him to do anything. Flacco did not look elite. He looked good this year, but he did not look good against us. So I guess we'll take it.
One thing to remember about that defense, Caleb, is they do their lineup and then they either rush or drop back. I think one of the main points they look at before they drop back is the quarterback dropping back to throw, or is he handing off? And I think they've just, like, not against the Colts, of course, but other teams they've been rushing more, so they drop, like, or not rushing, they've been dropping back. What I'm saying is I think they're just dropping back more instead of rushing as much. But I think they still need to keep that percentage up. Otherwise, people are not going to respect the lineup at the line as much. So I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And our coverage has been very much zone coverage, not a whole lot of man-to-man, which is definitely like, that's why when they back up off, they don't have to be directly on someone, so that's why they're in that zone so often. But we've been struggling with the getting carved up the last couple of games before this. Obviously, the Colts offense is not the caliber of the Lions or the Rams, and that's why I think it worked again. We might have the issue of our defense being good against bad opponents, but easily taken advantage of against good opponents. So we will see going forward. That's kind of scary. I hope that they should be able to recognize that now and look forward to see what they can do. But the one thing that I did have for the defense, for like players on the defense, is Harrison Smith. He's still got it. Hitman is still Hitman. I mean, he had a ton of breakups by just smashing the crap out of the receiver when they're trying to catch the ball. And then he's the one that had the fumble recovery as well. So for anyone out there saying that he's too old and we need somebody else, I want him to play as long as his legs can work and until he no longer can be a safety. effectively in the league, and he is right now. So keep him out there. To all the haters. But Dallas Turner, he had more snaps this week, and he produced 1 QB pressure, 1 quarterback hit, and a couple tackles. And just good stats for not a ton of snaps. And I just want to keep that out there and just keep doing that. Keep getting him more in the mix. Like they got all these different pass rushers. You got to get the rookie in there that we drafted high. Got to see what he can do. And just want that going forward. But overall, a win is a win. The Colts, I think, are a mediocre team, and it should have been a win. But I wasn't confident going in. But a win is a win, no matter how awful the first half was. And we can get over it. We're 6-2. We're marching towards that 10-win season. Hopefully more than that. And we got the Jags up next, which feels like a trap game because the Jags, although they aren't a good team, every week they lose by 1 score, and it's at some point they're going to break through on one of these teams, and I just pray it's not the Vikings. So it's at Jacksonville. I'm a little worried, but we'll see. I'm excited for this week. Hopefully we get to that 7-2.
Awesome. Up next, the Jets. Boy, oh boy. Are the Jets unstoppable when they are basically out of playoff contention? Overall, though, this week, this was a win for the fans. Being on a 5-game loss streak, it does some horrendous things and causes the, fans to chant, sell the team, horrendous things at the home game. So, especially similar to the Vikings having a first half that was god awful, does not help their case at all, but they came back in the second quarter. With this win, I think the best way to break down the Jets talk this week is just jump right into names, because we did have a very good game this week. We beat the Texans, although I feel the Texans are kind of not to degrade the Texans.
They're on the downward trend. That's my opinion. They're on the downward trend.
Yeah, not to degrade the Texans, but I feel like the Jets and the Texans are both average teams with just completely opposite records. I think that the Texans are on a downward swing, especially losing some of their players. I think it's affecting the team. They need to get back in a stride, but we're not here to talk about the Texans. We're here to talk about the Jets, baby. So let's talk about Davante Adams. His best game since he's been here, 91 yards and a touchdown. Pretty funny thing happened. Davante Adams gave Aaron Rodgers a thumbs down, and Rodgers gave him a thumbs down, and then they threw for their touchdown. So that was pretty funny. A hidden hand signal to say this ball's coming to you, get open.
Was it during the pre-snap?
Yeah, it was.
That's crazy.
Reddick and McDonald finally hit, not McDonald, Reddick mostly hitting his stride now. McDonald finally having somebody opposite edge of him to explode on this defensive line. So much pressure. Reddick and McDonald having this much pressure just opened up Quinnen Williams in the middle to just walk in and just bear hug CJ to the ground like a monster. But even though our edge defense is doing great, I still show concerns for the run game. Our defensive linemen cannot tackle. Do not rely on them to tackle, and our secondary, I wouldn't trust to tackle either. So,
who's going to tackle on this team if you don't trust the defensive lineman?
There's no one to tackle. It's over. We'll talk about the upcoming game at the Cardinals because they're a rushing team. I don't want to talk about them just yet. I want to finish the names, but That's going to be the challenge going forward for our rush defense. That's the test right there. Keeping on the defense, we'll talk about Sauce. Or should I say Ahmed Gardner, because brother still can't tackle. And he's at this point, it's the same thing as Brees to me. He's got to be injured in some capacity. It could be in his psyche. It could be physically. I don't know. Something's off about Sauce this past 6 games. He's not been himself. It's been awful. He had one play the whole game that made me happy where he actually broke up a pass. Otherwise, he had a horrendous give up on yards straight into a penalty and then faked it. He had an injury. I'm convinced he faked it because he was embarrassed and just got off the freaking field. But yeah, Sauce is not himself right now, and DJ Reed is definitely number 1 corner on the team right now. And I pray they don't trade him before the end of the year, and I hope they keep him because he's a great player for the Jets.
Well, you actually need 2 cornerbacks, so I would.
Yes, it's very good.
As from a team that has a really old one and a really young one, it's like I really prefer if we could have 2 good ones. But
yeah,
you don't trade good quarterbacks. You don't.
No, definitely not. But we'll talk about what would have happened this week if they lost this game. But keeping up with performances, we got Garrett Wilson. Brother is signed to Adidas, but brother should sign with Nike. He just recreated Michael Jordan. That was crazy. Holy shin, am I right, guys? Amazing catch, amazing performance. 2 one-handed catches, really hitting his stride now after his interception against the Patriots. He's totally bounced back, and it's looking amazing. Becoming a lethal duo. Yeah, him and Adams becoming a lethal duo, both having 90 yards receiving. So it's really becoming a pick your poison offense of who you're gonna double team and who's gonna get open. Because if Garrett and Adams are double team, Brees is open for your check down, and he's gonna haul ass as he's been doing for the past 3 games. Speaking of Brees, he's finally looking like our running back 1 in stride that we had last year. This guy is being very productive. He needs to keep up the hustle and break tackles. He needs to not just give up. I want him to drop his shoulder more and get that extra 5 yards if he's in a stride in his run. But he's looking amazing. Rodgers kept letting me down easy first half. 3 passes to Adams in 1 drive made me cry, like literally made me want to cry. Like it was like watching Nightmare on Elm Street. It was a horror movie. It was terrible. One of them was to Adams when he wasn't even looking. Threw it straight behind his back. And then they turned around like, what happened? I'm like, what happened? Because apparently nobody on the field knows what's going on.
So is Rodgers, when he, and you probably know this more because you watched the games fully, the Jets games. When he just sees an opening, he just throws it. Doesn't matter if that's the route or not.
Like that's
I don't understand.
That's what it seems like.
Happening.
Yeah, because it's either these runners don't know the routes or Rodgers sees the opening and the runners need to see, oh shit, I'm open. A ball could be coming to me. Check over my shoulder, you know? Like I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's like you're an option in this play. Make sure you look. And Rodgers is seeing that they're gonna win their breakaway. Look now, you know, type of thing. But that wasn't happening in the first half. 67 yards passing, abysmal. Crowd was going crazy. Halloween night, people are wearing bags on their heads, saying "Sell the team." Same old Jets. It was awful. Second half though, we came to ball, baby. Ended up with 193 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. He trusted his guys. He let it rip. Apparently, Aaron Rodgers is listening to the podcast because that's exactly what I said to do last week. Just let that thing sail and trust your guys. Like, throw balls that they can make the catches for. Like Garrett Wilson's first touchdown, threw it perfectly in front of the defender's hands, only where Garrett Wilson could catch it, and he trusted him, and they got the touchdown because of that. He's just got to keep the receivers need to build that trust with Rodgers, and Rodgers needs to build that trust with them. It's a two-way thing, because Rodgers is like, well, this guy keeps dropping my passes, I'm not going to throw it. Look at Mike Williams, that's what's happening right now. But moving forward, we're going to have to start trusting Mike Williams because Lazard's out on IR for the next 3 games. So, yeah. Greg Z, he's gone. Patterson in. The thumbs up.
Did they drop him?
He's on IR.
Oh.
He's hurt.
Like mentally,
he's
or
hurt.
Is he mentally got is that like how hurt is he? Like what happened?
He was hurt night before the game, of course. So I don't know. Something happened last week. He was set to play, but then they brought in 5 kickers and took the 2 best. And as Brick said, may the best kicker win, or may the best kicker kick, or whatever the hell he said. But Patterson was in. We clearly still did not trust our kicker because we had 4 fourth down conversions, 3 fourth down conversions, 2 of which were successful on penalties from the defense. So I guess we don't want to go for field goals. I mean, during the game, I was literally saying, like, yeah, let's settle for a field goal. We're 2-6, guys. Settle for a field goal. So I was happy they weren't, but it was risky. But yeah.
I like fourth down going for it. I just feel like it's such a momentum changer. It's so hard in the defense when they think they had to stop, and then you just continue that drive.
Pick it up and go.
As long as it makes sense, even just a little bit, like I can always get behind that.
Yeah.
Real fourth down lovers do it on like 4th and 7 though, 4th and 10.
Yeah, that's that one. That's where it's a little bit different.
But yeah, looking at the game, very good performance, but this win ultimately comes at a price, right? Because if we lost this game, we're on a 6-game loss streak. We absolutely play for a rebuild, sell like crazy. Anybody that's becoming a free agent, put them on the block, have everybody be sold. But, dear God help me, since they won, there's a glimmer of hope. The pieces are finally coming together, right? And right now we have to stick with what we have. We can't buy anything else without making next year impossible. And pieces that we might have wanted to let go, Mike Williams, DJ Reed,
I feel like
Tyler
Mike
Conklin.
Williams is not really giving you much, though. Isn't that a piece you could still lose pretty easily and try to get something?
But then you're relying on our 2 rookie other receivers to be on the field. And
but the Yak King.
The Yak King had his first yak session on the field that made everybody yak all over the field. Like that, I don't even want to talk about that because
I do.
It's so bad. It's inexcusable. It's something to be done in college, but everybody was saying, get rid of this guy, freaking let him go. And it's like, guys, if we're letting this guy go, we should let Aaron Rodgers go, because when that happened, Rodgers had like under a 50% completion rate and under 50 passing yards, and that was going into halftime. So, like, we need to just chill the frick out.
The celebration of letting the ball go at the goal line, I don't understand how that keeps happening. It's the craziest celebration. Run that ball to the end of the end zone before you let go.
It's also his first touchdown in the NFL. Why are you letting it go? That is your ball. Don't drop it. You're taking it home.
It's crazy. Like, just walk into the end zone. Like, why do we... There's so many celebrations and fun things that they do nowadays. That is just... It needs to be erased. Every coach should just say, I will drop you from this team if you do this. And that
but don't drop that guy. We should play that guy more, actually.
We'll grab him. Just drop him.
But yeah, moving forward, I want them to make a run. but if they go late and don't make it, it's actual dog shit. Our season next year's like half cooked at that point if we go late and don't make it, because we are pretty close to cap, if not at it, and it's not going to be good for next year, especially if we're needing to re-sign a lot of our rookies. So yeah, Jets are always in an interesting position, and never ceases to make the season something different. So it's going to be an interesting ride. Looking forward, though, as I said, the Cardinals, in their past of the 9 games, 5 of their games this year have had 160 plus running yards. So it's going to be the ultimate test for us to see if we can mount up to a team that rushes the ball like crazy and actually stop them. Because pass defense has been good, but now's the time. We got to see. Can they stop the run?
Tackle.
Yep. Please, God, tackle. Corners can't tackle. Safeties can't tackle. Actually, the team just can't tackle, besides Devontae Adams and his cougar leaping abilities.
He did have the best tackle of the year, I think.
But yeah, after that we have the Colts. We'll talk about them next week, and then we hit our bye. Hopefully we're 5-6, and we can rebound from there. So yep, the ride's on. 8-0 for the Jets. Here we come. That's just in the season, with the 6 losses we have. Because if we get one more, it's you can't. You cannot give up 2 games. You get one lose.
You could have maybe 8 losses, maybe 7.
Not in this division, but it's gonna be way too close. But yep.
Speaking of that,
Jets.
we are already halfway through this season.
We are.
It's crazy to hear. Feels like we just
crazy
started.
To hear.
Crazy. I mean, technically, we're more than halfway.
Nope,
that's true.
Well, I guess with playoffs and Super Bowl.
No games have played this week, so we are directly.
We're more than halfway through the regular season.
So for over half the teams.
Some of you guys, that means that's halfway through the whole season, but I'm not naming names.
Well, Tim,
right.
I'll let you name some names on the Ravens, and I'll pass it to you.
All right. It is the Ravens time again. I don't want to say we're back because we weren't really gone. We just had a really upsetting week. And now we didn't absolutely screw ourselves this time. So a lot more fun to watch. Got to stack the points on them. First of all, you guys didn't know, Lamar had a perfect passer rating, which, as I've said before, is a fake nerd stat, but it's cool nonetheless.
What we can't be bringing. You can't be bringing this up. You say it's fake, and now you're bringing it up.
I don't care.
This is crazy.
It's a fake nerd stat, but he's number 1 in the fake nerd stats.
You can't say
time.
Nerd stats are bad and then bring up a nerd stat.
I'm not
That's
saying
crazy.
I had never said it was bad. I just said it is a fake nerd stat, which he's number 1 in.
First and favorite team have quarterbacks that get amazing nerd stats, but just calls them nerd stats for no reason. Jared Goff is right now the hottest quarterback in the NFL, and Lamar just gets his first perfect. So make
got his
of the
fourth
season.
Perfect.
Of the
tied
season
for the most of all time.
Of
only
the
with
season.
Big Ben. Of the season.
But it's nerd stat, fake nerd stat doesn't matter. So
fake nerd stat.
No, it's fake nerd stat that does matter, actually.
Oh, no,
because Lamar's the best at it.
Oh, come on.
But yeah, he absolutely carved up the Broncos, which
in the second half.
Both halves. But the Broncos have 4th best pass defense, 7th best run defense. So their offense, lacks a little bit, but they're a formidable defense. Yeah,
that's a good defense. I was extremely surprised with that outcome. I know the Ravens are a good offense, but with that defense,
later in the second half, the Broncos defense kind of gave up a little. I won't lie.
That's what happens when you play a whole game and you get run around like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
not to discredit the Ravens, of course.
Right. I was
full
happy
discredit.
with that.
Full discredit.
Okay. You know what? I don't yap like this in your guys' segments. Okay, fuck you. I'm here to glaze again. I couldn't glaze last week. I can get all my glazing out.
Okay. No more. I'll let the glaze ride.
All right. Well, I did like this momentum, but I do not want the Ravens to let off the gas. I feel like they are just terrible with that. That they'll just fucking they're doing good, and then they'll get hit when you least expect it and get taken up by Jameis Winston. And God knows who else.
They give up those leads in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that too. But I gotta say, the defense, they actually did a good job this time. They caught an interception. They didn't drop an interception. They got some nice fourth down stops. It was helped a little bit because Bo Nix had some bad overthrown passes. I won't lie. There were some that if he just didn't do that, they would have been like a touchdown or a huge yard gain.
But they did let Bo Nix catch a touchdown, though.
That was bad.
That was kind of crazy,
bad.
though.
You can't be caught with that kind of trick play.
Well, Tim, I think the defense, or I think your offense punished them enough for allowing that play, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I didn't exactly feel terrible about it when we were just rinsing them the entire second half. So yeah, there was that Rashad Bateman drop, which it was just one, but I'm like, can't keep doing that, buddy.
Yeah, you actually have to play perfectly at all times.
Yeah, I'm not aiming to get to the playoffs like you, Caden. I'm aiming for a Super Bowl win. You have to play perfectly, okay?
Wow, see, this is just bullying right now.
I don't know if you've seen the Chiefs, but I'm pretty sure they're not playing perfectly, and they're 7-0, so...
Yeah, but nobody cares how the Chiefs do until playoff time.
Interesting.
That's the Midwestern say of being like, you're fucking idiot. Because I've pulled that move way too many times. No, but yeah, so I also want to bring up the doink. An extra point doink from Tucker. I'm not sure how you cannot say this man is washed when he doinks on an extra point. I mean, it went in.
We had an extra point doink and it went in.
But it's bad. You can't be doing that as the best in the league. No one's called him that all year.
I don't think. I just feel like you can't make that move middle of the year away from Tucker.
Okay, not middle of the year. I have no issues with keeping him for the year.
That's not say Justin Tucker. Let's say the best kicker of all time.
He's gone. I'm sorry.
I could care. See it next year. That makes sense.
I don't care how much work you did for the team. It's in our best interest not to have a declining kicker. Okay, we can give you your flowers. We can hang up your jersey in the rafters, but leave. All right, it's time not to be a super senior who creeps in all the weird freshmen. Okay. But yeah, it was. Other than that, nothing like too crazy notable from the game. Just fun, not too stressful. I enjoyed it heartily. And then on the flip side of that, a very similar game with the Lions Packers, an absolute trouncing. The Packers did embarrass themselves a little bit there. Just really some drops and
Jordan Love's pick six.
Yeah, pick sixes. And Jordan Love
he's done a few of those where he just shovels it
now.
off. Jordan Love has shoveled it off, I think 3 times this season into an interception. I don't know how you shovel past an interception. What the hell? We'll blame it on the cheesehead helmets they were wearing.
I don't know how you can expect to win like that if you play the Lions. I mean, the Packers have had much better games this season, and that just was not one of them. If anything, it kind of proves
Quote that from Tim.
How much better the Vikings are than the Packers.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
We also the Vikings barely lose by 3. Yeah, also that part. But you let them come back way too much.
Maybe a bit.
And then the next week the Pack. I mean, they got disassembled live on air. I mean, I think that was illegal to stream in a couple countries because a little too disgusting for the eyes. You know what I'm saying?
I thought it was great. That was
yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, of course.
Although I wanted both teams to lose in that game, so that was a little bit of a struggle for me.
Yeah. Now there's a king crowned in the North. It would have been a 3-way tie, but now the Lions are overall division leader.
Mm-hmm. So that's really all I have to say about that. Just nice, quick, easy games for my teams. yet again this week. Last week was an exception. Noted. It was an exception, and I didn't have to see any dumb excuses being made on air. But
I mean,
now I think
it's okay. Like last week, God was like in Jameis Winston throwing the ball. Like you really can't help. You can't stop him.
Yeah, that was the Holy Redemption after the haunting of.
Sorry, sorry about that pause, everybody. Tim was thinking about the loss last week and just contemplating life itself right there.
Tim, are you just going to call every loss an exception?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
They have 3 losses and 6 wins. It's not like they had 1 loss on the year. They have 3 of them. They can't be called
And let me tell you, they shouldn't have lost 3 of those games.
That's crazy.
What? Okay. Are you good, Tim?
All right. Well, now it's time for everybody's favorite segment, Dub or Flub.
Dubbing, flubbing.
Everybody's ranting reviews about how amazing this is from me.
Dumping, dubbing.
First up.
Dub and flub. Dub or flub. Dennis?
Dub
Allen
and flub.
Firing from the Saints. Dub and flub.
Caden, I think you should go first on this one.
Well, you know me, I'm not the biggest Saints watcher, but I also had a head coach with a losing record, and if it was his time to go, it was his time to go. So, losing records as they stand, this year, a little valid, especially since, but it's a little difficult, especially for the Saints, since they had their, spotlight on him at the beginning of the year with Derek Carr, and then he was out for 5 weeks, and then finally comes back, loses a game, and then the head coach is gone. It's a little awkward, but I think it's probably justified. Probably a dub. Probable dub for me.
Definite dub. Caleb, what I'm curious to hear from you is teams that fire their head coach, they don't turn it around.
No.
They never turn it around.
Not yet.
This firing, though.
Not yet.
Every team is one good firing away from becoming a Super Bowl contender.
I feel like the best you could do when you fire your coach midseason is like you get this little bump in the locker room. And they're like, yes, we didn't like that guy. Thank goodness. Let's go get some wins. And then they get like 1 win out of like spirit, and then they just realize they're a bad
That's
team.
just
they
not
can't
true.
win anymore.
Look at the Raiders last year. They almost made playoffs after firing their head coach.
Yeah, there's always exceptions like those losses Tim has.
Exactly. I mean, losing barely inside of the touchdown. Tucker missing kicks. Dropped perfect dimes. What are those but exceptions?
But yeah, this is a dub take because Dennis Allen
like
has been.
I'm not gonna rant, but I'll just say. I'll just say the Jets. I'm not one to say it, but the Jets could have been 6-3 if we had a better kicker. That's all I'm gonna say. So if we had,
putting your kicker in that position is showing you are not that team.
No, I see, here's the issue: is Caden's been on the record on the podcast saying that they can't blame the kicker, and now he's going back on it. So I don't know what's going on.
Guys,
Caden, is your name Onside Takes? It's Tim, Caleb, and Onside Takes.
Dub or flub? Let's move on. We're actually just done with this. Bills.
It's a dub. Dennis Allen had to get out of there.
Dub or flub? Bills only have a good record because of an easy division. I'll let everybody but me go.
This is a dub. Listen, are the Bills a good team? Yes. But I don't think they would be 7-2 if they had some very strong if they were in a harder conference. I don't know. I feel like they'd be like 6. They'd be like 5 something. They can't keep it together in the regular season this time.
That's a bad take. I think that the Bills, I think they have a good record because they're a good team. So this is a flub take.
Mm-mm.
They beat the Cardinals, who are a decent team. They're not the best. They're not the worst. Murray is great.
If
they
you
beat the
flex
Dolphins.
Beat Murphy, no,
I'm not done yet.
Pete Murphy is a massive W, Tim, because he's Thanos level threat on this fucking calendar for any team.
When you have 3 names, you never know who's going to show up.
Are we talking about the same guy? Hold on, have we been talking about different guys this whole time? Because the Murphy I know is not a Thanos level threat. Okay, clearly, there's some other guy out there that's the QB for the Cardinals whose name is Murphy.
Yeah, and also Murray. Moving on though, the Dolphins. That was a win against the Dolphins when they still had Tua, and they crushed them. They did lose to the Ravens, and I think the main reason that Tim has this view is because the Ravens destroyed the Dolphins
are barely good. The Dolphins are barely good.
Okay, I'm not done. The Texans barely beat the Bills by a field goal. Okay, they beat the Jets, they beat the Seahawks, and then they beat the Dolphins again with Tua. So yeah, their record hasn't been, their schedule hasn't been the hardest. But they've beat some decent teams, and they've played close games with others. Their one game that they had that was bad was against the Ravens, which they're a good team. Shit happens. I think they're just a good team.
They are a predator of teams worse than them. And then when Showtime comes up, the lights get too bright. You know what I'm saying?
I think the Bills are a good team. I don't like Josh Allen Glaze. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. Moving on.
No dubber flub.
Okay.
It is a flub.
Let's go.
Moving on. Dubber flub. Detroit Lions are playing to injure. I'm gonna go first. That's a goddamn flub take.
It's a flub take.
What?
They are playing to win. And a helmet on helmet. Sure, that's a penalty. Flipping off the crowd, maybe that leads you to getting an ejection from this week, but I don't think they're intentionally going out there to cause harm on players. If anything, they cause more harm to themselves.
I say this is a flub take, but I'll prevent evidence number 1 to Caden. The infamous Bounty Gate of 2009. You know who's on the Saints coaching staff?
Yeah, 2009.
Is it 2009 where the
Dan
penalties
Campbell.
are not
Dan
are
Campbell
not called
was on
every
that
single
Saints
play?
Coaching staff. Okay, that's the primary evidence. He was a part of the criminals. But I do think this is a flub take. I think they are just an aggressive team trying to win.
I think this is a dub take because there have been last season and this season multiple.
They're so aggressive.
Multiple players that have just been taken out by low hits to the knees and high hits to the head. And the other teams aren't. It's happening so often in the Lions. Maybe they're just playing really hard defense. But the Vikings lost T.J. Hawkinson to the Lions last year. There was about a 3-week span where every team had a player out for the year after playing the Lions because they had some type of hit that was season-ending. So, and Dan Campbell. Saints. It all makes sense. Everything is coming together. Fuck the Saints. And that stupid bounty gate. It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. So it's a dub take. It's crazy. The NFL's got to investigate this.
Oh, come on.
I'll call them up just for you, Caleb. Yep, right after this pod.
Mods, I spill my juice. Investigate the Lions.
Dub or flub? Colts pass the Texans for a division win.
Flub. Texans stay on top. They're good enough. They're not as good as, they're not insanely consistent, but they'll get the job done.
Caleb?
Yeah, this is a flub take. The Colts are not a good team. They have either an old quarterback that's really good sometimes, or a young quarterback that's never good ever. But I think they're gonna go back to the young quarterback or something. I don't know. They don't really know what to do.
Anthony Richardson is indefinitely benched.
Probably because he yawned. on on the broadcast. No, the Colts are not good enough. They're maybe a 500 team, and the Texans, while I don't think they're trending down, I don't think they're going to trend so down that they can't even win the division. So I think it's a flub take.
I think it'll come down to division games for the Texans. They're not in a very competitive, division, but when rivals play, they play to win. So, I think it's going to be closer, but I still think the Texans will win. Dub or flub? 49ers do not win the NFC West, their division. I think, unironically, as much as I love Murray, I think that the 49ers won't. I think the Rams might come out and clench this division win.
That's a dub. That's a big dub. Rams are going to win the division. 49ers are not going to win the division.
Caleb?
Yeah, if I would have gone first, that's exactly what I was going to say too. The Rams, they're starting to cook now, and if they keep staying healthy and it keeps coming back, I just don't see how.
I mean, we'll find out tomorrow if Cooper Kupp's gone, but if he's not, they're going to be freaking deadly.
Yeah, I have confidence in them. I don't think and even if the Rams don't win, I think the other two teams have a good shot too, besides the 49ers. So I just think it's too close to the West division to call. There's too many too many injuries on the 49ers, so I'm gonna take this as a dub take.
Dub or flub? Drake May is the best rookie QB this season. I'll let my Jaden Daniels Glazers go first.
Number one, Jaden McDaniels Glazers are logging on now. What the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, if anyone's the number one Glazer, it
would be Caleb. He has been saying
my
rookie,
MVP pick.
He has been saying MVP since week one.
Okay. It's not looking quite as good recently, unfortunately. But I'm sticking with my take. I'm sticking with my take. This is a flub take. Did Drake May look great? Maybe?
Drake May Drake May's only played 5 weeks of football.
Yeah, that's not Jane Daniels' fault. He's played more games. He's has a better sample size. He's won more games. Even though we might be on a better team, it doesn't matter. Drake May had a great game-tying touchdown. It was a great play. They lost the game. They lost in overtime. I mean, how could he has one good touchdown pass that he delayed for the stat is the longest touchdown pass thrown on a play is 20 or 15 seconds for Jaden Daniels during the Hail Mary, and the number 2 this season is Drake May on his. So even in this one stat that Drake May could have over Jaden still has it over him. So no, Jaden Daniels is the best. Caleb Williams, not in this conversation, but
he fell out, fell off hard. I think I agree. I think that going forward this season, I think it'll still be Jaden Daniels, but I think Drake May is going to be close. I think he's coming in, he's clutching. Some of these wins, I think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna sack. I think they're gonna see what Drake May can do. I think they're gonna be a 5-6 win team. I know it's not great, but they're not a good team. They're not gonna be good. But I think he's going to be the reason they're gonna win those games.
Every loss they have is a win. So these games where he looks good but they lose is the ultimate win for them.
Definitely. Fuck the Patriots. Moving on. NFC, the whole conference is better than the AFC whole conference. Dub or flip?
Dub. The NFC is, I think they're pretty stacked right now. I mean, you have the main reason is because the NFC North exists, and you could put them up against the AFC by themselves, and they might put up a fight. One division versus a whole conference. So that's where my main standing comes from. But I just think the NFC is deeper, and I think there's some teams that are good in the AFC, but they got to prove themselves before I could ever consider them to be top teams. So
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
definitely
go with the
like
NFC.
it's mountaintops in the AFC where you got whole hills of good teams in the NFC.
Yeah, the
So,
cutoff
I
is
agree.
pretty stark after the first
Yeah.
three.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. This is a dub take. NFC, you just got a lot more to play with there.
Definitely. Double flub. Moving on. Matt Eberflus is the coach of the Bears next season.
Matt, as some refer to him as Matt DeWeberflus, he's donezo. He is donezo. This guy, he's lost the team. He's not taking credit for these losses. He's blaming his team. He's not taking ownership.
It's cooked.
His team, they can't even do the basic things correct. He's got players celebrating on the sideline. He's got, I don't know if you saw it, but DJ Moore on a play this week, he's wide receiver. He's running a route. The play extends. Caleb Williams is running around. DJ Moore hits the sideline, and he just goes and takes a seat on the bench. The play kept going. Caleb Williams threw it elsewhere on the field. The team is in disarray. The Bears once again have drafted a quarterback, but kept their old coach. And it will be the third time in a row that they've drafted a quarterback, kept the old coach. First year goes bad. Fire the coach, keep the quarterback. It's happened. This will be the third time
That's
it's
crazy,
happened
actually.
in a decade.
Crazy stat.
With Mitchell and Justin Fields. Absolutely nuts that they're continuing to do this, but he needs to go. He's bad. Get him out. Honestly, get him out before the end of the season. Nope, I take it back. I got to stay on my take. Don't fire your coaches if you plan on winning.
Fire Matt Eberflubus. That's dumb. Okay. Mr. Eberflubus has let down the city of Chicago for too damn long, if you ask me. At what point do you got to look inwards, man? You can't keep saying, "Oh, this next draft pick's gonna fix it." This is easy dub.
Yeah, I agree. Fire all the head coaches. Actually, I'm just all for it this year. Let's get rid of everybody that stinks and start fresh.
McConnell, don't fire him. He's kind of holding the team together.
Love him.
All right, we'll allow him. There are exceptions, as Tim
Our
always
bro
says.
he can stay for now. He's kind of on thin ice sometimes, though.
Dub or flub? Lions are the favorites to win, or our favorite to win the Super Bowl.
I think this is just kind of a factual dub. I think losing a random game, being 1-7, that's understandable. You lose some games. They just look a lot better than the Chiefs, and obviously, I'm afraid of the Chiefs. They're a really hard playoff team to
fuck
beat.
the Chiefs.
But right
they
now,
got the zebra corpse,
it's
so
hard
I
to
guess
say the
that'll
Lions are
do
not
it.
the favorite.
Yeah, my issue with this is they're just ramping up like no other. Their first 3 weeks, they were played close games. They went 2-1. But since that, then they've scored 42, 47, 31, 52, and then 24 this week. But how the other teams can't even get to that score. So they're never. It doesn't even matter how bad the defense is from the Lions. Their offense is nuts. The Chiefs. I don't know. The issue with the Chiefs is I don't know because they're always super good. So maybe they should always be the favorites. But right now the Lions look like an unstoppable machine, and I hate it. And they're in our division. So
I think
it sucks. It's a dub take.
In analyzing the long game of the Super Bowl at this point, you can't play favorites. You just got to look at the hard stats right now and just say, yeah, Lions look better.
Lions are the hard fact. That's just the way it is. Hard stats. Dub or flub? Justin Fields is on the Steelers next season.
That's a dub take. Russell Wilson can only play so long. I don't know how long he can play, but I think Justin Fields will just take his place. Or I think they don't want to Russell wasn't strong enough. Maybe he is now, but in the past he hasn't been the best of recently. So they want to have that really good option. I think they like that. I just don't know what Justin Fields' contract looks like and how long he'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
If he has to be traded or if he's a restricted free agent, he probably will leave. So I guess it just depends if he can play, if he's the starter or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna say dub.
Well, I think it's dub. I don't know the exact contract details for Fields versus Wilson, but I can imagine you'd want to keep the younger, fresher talent on the team for longer. Wilson, I mean, they're both good. You might as well just stick with the guy that's going to be better longer, theoretically.
Justin Fields' contract is in its final year.
Okay.
And the team did not pick up his fifth-year option for 2025. This makes Fields a free agent after the 2024 season.
Oh, Wilson is also on a one-year contract.
They got a big decision.
Wait and see. Yeah. I think personally, I don't know. I think it can be a dub take. I think he's learning a lot from Russell. And I think he'll stay with them and ride it with them. Yeah, I think it's a dub.
Lots of riding.
That was the last dubber flub. Moving on to league thoughts. We'll talk about who will win, upset of the week, game of the week, and of course, the mid-off of the week. Diving in, we have a fire match this Thursday with the Bengals at the Ravens, with this being a three-way tie for game of the week.
The first unanimous vote for game of the week in this franchised podcast history. I mean, what can
storied history?
Storied, really. It goes down like dozens of days. Tens of days have been. Okay, moving on. The Bengals Ravens. How can you not be excited? I mean, they already had an electric matchup earlier in the year.
Quite crazy.
Does Burrow have a terrible record playing Lamar? Yes. But are they always fun to watch? Also, yes.
The Bengals are hitting stride.
It's going to be high scoring. It's going to be real tough on the defenses. And, I mean, obviously, Ravens are favored to win. I'm always scared playing the Bengals. I'm always scared, even though historically there's no need to be, because you never know what's going to happen.
Definitely.
I mean, history. I mean, it can help you with the future, but no matter what, these are both good teams. So like, you can't really base it off history. You got to base it off the here and now.
I mean,
the
just
here and now
off
is
this
the
season,
Ravens.
the Bengals have not gotten any better since they've played the Ravens.
I think
that the Ravens are they're kind of coasted. They got their bounce back win. Obviously, they're excited for this. They're going to be ready because this is a big opponent. But this is do or die for the Bengals. And Joe Burrow is clutch. He almost has the Super Bowl. He's clutch. He's Joe Burrow.
No, you're not walking past that. Joe Burrow is not clutch.
Why is that?
He has explain how he's clutch.
I mean, he's beat the Chiefs way more than the Ravens.
How many? He's beat the Chiefs once?
3 times.
3 times? So when you talk about clutch, you only talk about Chiefs games.
Well, games that matter in the playoffs, like making
like what you were saying, Tim. I hate to back up Caleb here, but you did say playoff games matter against the Chiefs.
Yeah. Has he played 3 playoffs games versus the Chiefs? Let me look this up.
They aren't all. I don't know if they're all playoff games that I'm talking about.
He beat the Chiefs one time, 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
I don't remember.
Hey guys, I just thought this would be a really good game.
That was Joe Burrow's Super Bowl. Was beating the Chiefs 4 years ago.
I think the Bengals win. They're just gonna come out there. They're gonna upset the Ravens. The Ravens are gonna get probably get a big lead.
You're going
and
for the broken clock is right twice a day, where you just always say that the Ravens are gonna lose. So when they do, then you're like, I was right.
It might be exception this week for the Ravens, so you never know.
This would not be an exception. It could be an exception if they fuck it up in a very unique way.
If they lose, it's not an exception. It was
we gotta see the game. We gotta see the game.
Next up, Giants at Panthers. This was me and Caleb's mid-off of the week, and Tim's upset of the week, taking the Panthers to win.
This game sucks.
This game sucks.
This This is just a repeat of the Saints Panthers last week, which did turn out to be an interesting game, I guess. But these teams suck. I don't want to watch.
I mean, it does help Tim's case that the Red Rocket is on the Panthers, so it gives him an extra 7%.
The Red. He does behind the scenes. He has mentioned the Red Rocket like 3 times already.
But here's the thing: that game is also in Germany and in the morning before the other games. Like, who's getting up to watch that? Come on,
the Germans.
The only thing I have to say about this game is the gambling bone in my body says Panthers are going to get 2 games in a row, and that's it.
Understandable. Bryce Young, 5th win ever in the NFL. So he's riding that high horse.
Only 2 seasons, not even a full 2 seasons.
That's true. But he's happy, and it's going to affect the game. Up next, Pats at Bears. I had this as my upset of the week. The Pats beating the Bears. Drake May is going to go out there and show Caleb Williams how it's done in the quarterback position.
I think it's really interesting that all 3 of the top 3 quarterbacks
have faced each other
matchups. Yeah,
that's very neat.
It's kind of crazy, but yeah, I think the Patriots upset the Bears. The Bears are in a downward spiral. I think a bunch of the players have been bad talking their coach, like we were talking about earlier, and the Bears are gonna do the Bears. They're gonna give the Bears fans hope, and then they're just gonna dash it every year, even worse than the Vikings fans. So, yeah, this is a Pats win.
Yeah, if the Bears lose this game, the fans are gonna be not happy. It's gonna be outroar. Any thoughts, Tim?
I think the Bears. Oof. Honestly, I think this is going to be interesting to see Caleb Williams versus Drake May, but for some reason, I can't count out the Bears on this one.
Okay. Up next, 49ers at the Bucks. Caleb took this as his upset of the week with the Bucks beating the 49ers.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the line is set at -7 for the Niners. I think it's at home for them, but I mean, they have not looked that good. They've had a ton of injuries. The Bucks have Baker Mayfield. Everyone else is hurt, but I have trust.
I think the 49ers are cooked, dude. I think they're freaking deep fried. I think the Bucks are just gonna get the win.
Agree.
Yeah, I believe in the Bucks here. I believe in the Baker Mayfield. So, I mean, I understand why they're down, but this kind of seems like a 50-50 to me.
Yeah, I don't get the spread. Doesn't make sense to me. That's why I picked it.
Yeah. I think it should be way closer too.
Red alert to all of our diehard fans here. You cannot pick the same upset of the week. It's a new rule we're initiating by unanimous vote. We all in agreement. This is a good rule.
And the current upset score is Caden with 1.5, Tim with 0.5, and Caleb with 1. So I'm currently leading. I know my stuff. 9 weeks of football.
I'm still mad at that half point.
I don't know. He got 2 picks.
That was a fake ass half
week.
point.
Well, the rules weren't set in stone yet, so.
Yeah, that's really benefited you guys a lot, hasn't it? Can I also say that both of your guys' points came from a week where I did not play because it was the first week and we had no.
Well, Tim, we could have given you no points, but we chose to give you half a point, so we're really gracious gods.
I hate this stupid fucking game. I hate this stupid game. This fraud ass points.
Up next, we have the Bills at the Colts against Joe Flacco, Colt legend. I'm hoping for a Colt win. I want the Bills to start tanking so the Jets can just go crazy.
Yeah, the Bills are going to win this.
Bills are winning.
Josh Allen.
Colts are not a real team.
We'll see. We'll see, baby. Following that, we have Steelers at Commanders. This has the potential to be a very good game. I think I'm gonna take the Steelers. I know we're riding that Janie Daniels train, but I think the Steelers are gonna keep getting wins against these above average teams.
Yeah, it's just not. I'm with you. As much as I love Jaden Daniels, I just feel like the Steelers' defense is nuts, and they're gonna get to him a little bit. And I kind of actually trust the Steelers' offense right now, which I don't know if I've ever said that since Ben Roethlisberger stopped being their quarterback. So yeah, if they can score, I mean, I think they're a very good team actually. So I'm gonna take the Steelers.
Tim, division rival?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take the Commanders to win because I like them more.
That's valid.
Factual.
Yep.
Following, we have Vikings at Jaguars. Unanimous Vikings vote. Vote.
Yeah, it's easy one there. Vikings gonna win. The Jags, it could be a trap. It could be scary, but I don't think it's gonna be close.
Unless Trevor Lawrence has the best game of his career, I don't think he's winning.
Purple Haze is gonna scare him.
Yeah,
He might
Vikings
pee.
got this. Jaguars are not scary this season.
Following, divisional match, Falcons at Saints. Falcons are on a hot streak. London Mooney, those guys are legit. Give me the Falcons.
Oh yeah, Kirko is just being himself, being awesome
Yeah.
as he always was.
Falcons easy.
Just easy, and the Saints are a dumpster fire. So.
Saints are completely.
Definitely.
I would take the Jags over the Saints here. I would take almost any team.
But they might get that fired your head coach bump for a 1 win. So you never know.
True.
You never know. Following, we have Titans at Chargers. Tim's mid-off of the week. I don't think this is going to be a mid-off of the week at all. I think the Chargers have been bouncing back a little. Cooper. I think I accidentally said they were on the Rams earlier. Maybe. My bad. But I think the Chargers are gonna be a little more legit closing out this season. So I'm gonna take them to win. Definitely better than the meme that is Will Levis.
Chargers are probably going to win this, but I don't know. I just feel uninspired looking at that team. I hear Titans or Chargers, and my brain is like, that's not going to be the one.
I'm with Tim on this. It's the Chargers. I think are a good team. They're just, I don't know. They don't scream fun. They don't scream watch me. They're playing the Titans. So
what do you mean? Puka fucking punched a guy in the head last week. That's so watchable.
Puka's not on the Chargers.
He's not?
He's on the Rams.
Dude, I just keep getting it wrong. I'm all out of whack. I need food. I'm hungry. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, I'm all out of whack, actually. Dude, I double jinxed myself earlier. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that game's a little more mid now. Looking at it. Herbert is not going to be a freak, though. He'll clinch the win. Gents at Cardinals following. Think this will be a closer game than people think? I'm going to take the Jets, of course, though.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how good Call of Duty's going, but I think Murray is going to get sacked a bunch this week. I think the Jets are going to contain him. They're going to tackle him as 2 people at a time so they can actually tackle.
It depends if we can contain the pocket to actually tackle him. Because if we can, he's going to scramble and frickin' run. So
I think this is actually a pretty even matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take Murray, though. Murphy. Shit. Sorry for getting his name wrong there.
Following, we have just as a heated of a rival as the Bengal Ravens. Eagles at Cowboys. I'm going to take the Eagles. Barkley's back. He's freaking playing. Brown and Smith are playing. Swift's in there, too.
About Saquon's
We did
backwards hurdle?
That was legit. Athletic to a fault.
That's going to be in the top 25 plays for the entire year.
Like,
That's like
so
Spidey
cool.
sense. Abilities. I don't know.
Like,
That's
it
like
was so
Spidey
cool.
sense abilities. I don't know how you do that.
And that's probably also how you get like your back, like a helmet to the back, and you just like can't ever move again. But it worked, and he didn't get hurt. So super dope. Don't do it again. I think that's what it is. Don't do it again. But yeah, the Eagles are going to destroy the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a broken team. Dak Prescott literally said they fucking suck. So,
Yes, he said that on the sideline.
That's
Not good.
crazy.
He's also injured right now, projected not to play for a bit. Dak is, and CeeDee Lamb is projected to maybe not even play this week. He's also injured, so not good.
Nobody's playing, and I think Micah Parsons is still out. So it's
Yeah.
they're cooked.
Next up.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim, you can go.
Eagles dub.
Eagles dub. Pretty simple. I was gonna say an exciting game. I would say this could rival game of the week if the Texans are in stride. Lions at Texans. I think the Lions are way too good right now, and the Texans are losing their stride. I think it's going to be a destruction by the Lions, especially after last week's exploitation of CJ Stroud that the Jets showed.
Yeah, I wish
For
I
sure.
could have gone. I could have gone first for Caden here because I was gonna have the exact same take. I think the Lions are going to make the Texans look like fools. Like it's not even going to be close in my opinion. Even though they're good teams, both of them technically, but Lions are too damn good, and the Texans are going to have all of their losses, except for to the Jets, to the NFC North. So rough schedule for them. But yeah, they're going to lose.
Lions are
By
gonna
that statistic, the
stomp again.
Texans only lose to good teams, I guess.
There's always exceptions.
Last game of the week. Dolphins at Rams. I'll get it right this time. Puka and Cooper are on the Rams. Two amazing wide receiving core teams. I think it'll be a fun game to watch, especially from a passing perspective. So I think it'll be not close because the Rams are going to dominate, but I think it'll be a fun game to watch.
Rams dub. $50
Yeah, I
in the
think
line.
the Dolphins should just try to lose this game and then just sit Tua for the rest of the year. Don't let them even have a chance at another concussion. Like it's their season's done. The Rams are just going to get another free win here. It's bad for them.
That concludes the league thoughts. Anybody have any closing statements?
Hopefully
Nope.
the Ravens don't have an exception this week.
No, they're gonna keep
I'm
the lid
hoping
on.
to. All right. That will conclude this week of Onside Takes. Thanks everybody for watching. And as always, stay awesome.
Love you guys.
Peace.
I love you. Bye.